in quiet confidence, the Empire sat in unbreakable dominion that spanned innumerable systems. That day, its council convened to discuss trivial matters when an unforeseen report slipped in, an unnamed fleet, approaching from a small world in the remote Sol system. Murmurs rose through the ranks, only to be dismissed. They laughed, thinking Earth a backwater, insignificant, crude, unworthy. The idea that Earth could pose a threat was more absurd than concerning. Grand Admiral Kirox reviewed the report, and even he laughed. The ships seemed large, but clunky, perhaps relics, outdated even by Earth's own standards. The Council of the Empire barely spared it a moment, shifting their focus back to expansion. Earth and any fleet it boasted were irrelevant. They decided to dispatch a small patrol squad, just enough to crush any illusion of strength and show these humans what a real empire looked like. But the report's specifics lingered in Admiral Dawes' thoughts. He had seen rebel forces, broken planetary defenses, crushed uprisings. Yet this message from Earth felt different, subtly defiant, quietly calculated. Empire intelligence had long ignored humanity, reducing them to myth, whispers, a rebellious footnote, aggressive but insignificant. In the meantime, the patrol ships mobilized. Human vessels approached Empire outposts quiet, but quick, unnoticed by all but the most advanced sensors, until one observatory caught a glimpse. A single lieutenant noted the strange silhouettes and understood these were not typical ships, no visible signatures, unconventional shapes, clearly real and unmistakably advanced. The images were sent to Kirox, who sneered, dismissing it as human exaggeration. In the imperial capital, experts searched Earth's history for weaknesses, mocked their fossil fuel dependence, laughed at their outdated systems. But unease began to build among the analysts. Discrepancies they couldn't explain. Human communication was silent. No posturing, no announcements, no theatrics, only quiet and precision. One analyst noticed a disturbing pattern, a rapid evolution in Earth's military capability. Their development timelines were inconsistent but trending upward at alarming rates. Still, the Empire's leadership dismissed it as desperation, not innovation. Kirox waved away the concern, telling his officers not to waste time. The patrol fleet closed in on the human coordinates, confident, relaxed, expecting another show of force, assuming Earth would fall in line. But when the patrol arrived, they found silence. The human fleet held position. Radio quiet, menacingly still, and then a signal cut through their communications. One chilling line whispered into their systems, "We're closer than you imagine." Imperial captains were taken aback. They scanned the region, certain of dominance. But the human ships remained hidden just beyond visibility. Unsettling silence descended on the fleet. Then, without warning, human ships erupted from the shadows. They moved as one, with deadly coordination, targeting engines, command decks, power systems, plasma blasts, precise. Their aim devastating. Empire ships built for brute force, buckled under focused strikes. Armor meant to withstand pressure, failed against pinpoint attacks. Outdated, vulnerable, crushed beneath calculated blows. Human weapons, once dismissed as primitive, tore through shields with ease. For the first time, Imperial captains felt fear. The human ships were leaner, faster, unnervingly synchronized, moving like a single mind. They avoided Imperial beams with impossible agility. Every attempt to counter failed. Communications broke down. Officers shouted over one another. Panic rising. Crippling strikes continued, cold, surgical, coordinated, as if cruelty had been programmed into the precision. Human forces did not hesitate. They dismantled the Fleet One system at a time. The command ship, the Resolute, locked onto a human vessel. Its captain smiled, believing they had the upper hand. But before it could fire, the human ship turned and released a volley. It tore through the Resolute's shielding like paper. On the bridge, chaos. Alarms screamed. Consoles sparked. Screams blackened. The crew scrambled, but it was too late. The human ship had already acquired its next target. These were not random attacks. This was strategy, dismantling of Empire dominance. Every shot measured, every move calculated, as if Earth had studied its enemy for years. Admiral Kirox called for retreat, hoping to save what remained. But the humans had predicted the maneuver, shutting off escape routes, tightening the net. All Imperial captains could do was watch as their remaining ships were boxed in, overwhelmed, crushed by an enemy they had once called insignificant. Then, in the silence, a voice came through, clear, calm, and cold. You believed us to be helpless, but we were merely waiting. The message shattered what little confidence remained in the hearts of Empire commanders. A declaration final and chilling. Distress signals fired from the Empire's broken. Fleets scattered and defeated us. The truth set in. Earth had not just survived. It had turned the Empire's arrogance into its downfall. In the galaxy, from that day forward, no one looked at humanity the same way again. Wishing for support, the Empire sent appeal after appeal. But there was stillness in response. Human vessels interfered with their communications, preventing any attempt to call for help. The Imperial captains understood the distressing realization. This was not just a skirmish, it was a deliberate message. A message from a species they had once dismissed. In the era of the Empire, senior officials gathered, concern growing with every passing report. Fragmented updates from the fleet became more concerning than silence. The last confirmed contact had ended with a whisper, and then nothing. The council chamber, once full of confidence, slipped into a stunned quiet. A powerful display from Earth had become their greatest military catastrophe in centuries. The room filled with panicked voices. They asked how an inconsequential species could destroy ships designed to be untouchable. Technology crafted to outmatch any known enemy. Defensive measures they believed flawless now rendered useless. Never had the Empire faced a force capable of truly threatening them. They had suppressed uprisings, pacified entire systems, ruled through fear and dominance. But humanity had done more than crack that. Arrogance. They had shattered it completely. Panic spread among council members who now understood they had underestimated a single species, one prepared to strike without warning. Using strategies so refined, so efficient, they felt surgical. Then a transmission arrived, precise and chilling. A recording taken directly from the battlefield, addressed to the highest ranks of the Empire's fleet. The voice was calm, emotionless, declaring simply, "We told you not to test us." Normally unshaken, the council sat paralyzed, the weight of that message crashing down. The unwavering confidence in those words was not bluster. It was strength, still unable to accept defeat. The Empire demanded a response. They sent representatives to negotiate, expecting humanity to behave like lesser civilizations, with caution, curiosity, or desperation. But every message failed. Every connection attempt was ignored. Humanity remained silent. No terms, no dialogue, no requests, only resolve. It became clear they had already decided the Empire's fate, and that fate was sealed not through negotiation, but through consequence. The Council reeled in disbelief. They had relied on diplomacy to pressure obedience when conquest was too costly, but humanity's silence was louder than any threat. Their lack of response was a final rejection of the Empire's authority, a declaration that the time to bargain had passed. Still unable to comprehend this truth, the Council issued one final plea, an emergency override, a ceasefire request, but the only reply was colder than silence. You ignored every warning. Now you will understand your final mistake. Panic gripped the Empire's citizens. Whispers of disapproval spread across allied worlds. Rumors of humanity's true strength could no longer be silenced. Systems once loyal began to waver, questioning the Empire's ability to protect them even from a single fleet. Mockery turned to fear, loyalty into doubt. The cracks spread. Military command issued orders to reinforce key locations, to fortify defenses, but no one knew when or where humanity would strike next. And in that fear, the Empire froze. They were forced to face the grim truth. They were not invincible. The age of uncontested supremacy was ending. The galaxy long held in fear watched as humanity, one by one, broke the Empire's grip. And then it came, a tactical strike. Humanity's fleet appeared at the edge of the Empire's capital system. A massive armada, drifting like a silent storm across the stars. Calm, steady, unrelenting. The Empire scrambled to prepare, moving every remaining weapon, every final defense, clinging to desperate hope, convincing themselves that this last stand might change the tide. But deep down, they knew they had never seen anything like this. The human ships approached without ceremony, their movements unified, efficient, uncompromising, while the Empire's once mighty warships, icons of past victories, floundered in chaos. Humanity circumvented the outer defenses with ease, cutting through the Empire's lines with surgical precision, piercing shields, disabling communications, obliterating strongholds. Leaders hit by focused strikes before orders could even be given. The last line of defense collapsed. Explosions lit the skies above the capital, symbols of control flashing into oblivion. People who once mocked humanity now watched in horror, witnessing the unraveling of their own civilization. A broadcast overtook the Empire's frequencies, overriding every channel. The voice cool, measured, clinical. This marks the end of your